Where is your nation? Why do you think so? You were born there? You are studying there? Your nationality on your personal information reference there? You are obliged to obey laws and regulations there? You are enjoying well-being benefits there? You are speaking official languages there? You follow the culture and tradition there? You feel being offensive once others abuse there? You feel proud of there? Currently, nationalism appears on rise globally. If you are living in the United States, UK, Germany, Turkey, Japan, China, India, Philippines, and South Africa, or you consume politics there, you know what I meant. Although there must be different reasons in different countries for rising trends, the sense of nationalism on individuals share common characters. The national flags and the national songs in national birthday celebrations have political leaders who always call for national unity and national priorities. Textbooks education and the media about patriotism, increasing military power, strong aggression and defense on others' offense, in whatever ways, whenever happened.
Why? Let's discover why.
Why can nationalism become an organizational identity in you? Through history, people have had attachment to their team group and traditions, territorial authorities, and their homeland. But nationalism didn't become a widely recognized concept until the end of 18th century. The timing when those formidable European states experienced numerous state-building wars. The timing when Industrial Revolution came and people in many society worked hard for well-being. The timing when those famous political scientists and philosophers like Machiavelli, John Locke, Hobbes, Rousseau conceptualized the state as a result of social contract between rulers and individuals. The timing when the age of colonization has been born, numerous colonists' wars were happening fearlessly between the locals and the new conquerors, and between the old aristocracy and the new class. After that, as you probably are familiar with, national flag, national song, national celebrations, national souvenirs, traditional clothes and customs, national pride education, and national wars have been around us. Those national labels appear frequently in festivals and holidays, ingrained into people's minds since they were kids, reinforced to a clear national identity through global sports competitions, international travelings, and international laws, and helping individuals to find themselves another organizational belongings and to fulfill identity blankness. Why are you motivated or manipulated by nationalism? Since the age of national sovereignty, nationalism has become the most direct ideological sentiment among the public, particularly when the rulers started to instigate and the nations face attacks and threats. In other words, nationalism can be a political tool by leaders to motivate and manipulate the public by taking advantage of the meaning of nationalism and the public sentiment on it. For example, in modern history, Napoleon's conquest of German and Italian states at the early 19th century played a major role in stimulating nationalism and the demands for national unity. More recently, 9/11 terrorism attack, which is arguably inspired by the ex-United States President George Bush himself, directly arose a highest nationalism sentiment among American public and media. As a result, both political leaders successfully united massive supports from the public in short time to take on military operations in the name of justice. Well, whether nationalism can be seen as possible or negative, it depends on historical context, individual outlook, and more importantly, your critical thinking. In general, nationalism seeks to preserve and foster a nation's traditional cultures, and traditional revivals have been associated with nationalist movements. It also encourages pride in national achievements and is closely linked to patriotism. Beyond this, both propotence and opotence make strong arguments on it. For Protestants, and the calling from a possible both authoritative and non-authoritative political leaders, nationalism can provide them a legal and positive moral way to actively participate in current affairs and an opportunity to release their passion, oppression, and hormones. Devote their efforts, even make themselves respectful hero figures, and realize their personal values. As a result, their personal contributions and memoirs will bond with national order, even national faith. Psychologically, the sense of nationalism does help some individuals to find meaningful life targets, reach the sense of achievements, fulfill their spiritual emptiness in a reasonable way. So many people tend to follow this calling even without critical thinking, even they have no idea what is really going on is. Even they would be like to be used to move by others' orders. Blind following has become one key point for those opponents to make criticism. George Orwell, the English novelist, distinguishes nationalism from patriotism, which he defines as devotion to a political place. More abstractly, nationalism is a power, hunger, tempered by self-deception. For Orwell, the nationalist is more likely than not dominated by irrational negative impulses. He thought it's important not to confuse nationalism with mere worship of success. The nationalist does not go on principle of simple hanging up with the strongest side. British socialist pacifist Bertrand Russell criticized nationalism for diminishing the individual's capabilities to judge his or her fatherland's foreign policy. Albert Einstein stated that nationalism is an ephemeral disease. It is the madness of mankind. Also, opponents have argued for years that it's often unclear what constitutes a nation, or whether a nation is a legitimate unit of political rule. Philosopher Isaac Grayling describes a nation as artificial contrasts their boundaries draw in the blood of lost wars. He argues that there is no country on earth which is not home to more than one different, but usually coexisting culture. Cultural heritage is not the same thing as national identity. Why does it rise and fall in different areas and in different countries? Political scientists believe that nationalism is typically listed among the top causes of wars, world wars, regional wars, and independent wars. More recently, in last half a century, nationalism has gone ups and downs globally as international dynamics change. In the 1980s, some scholars used to think nationalism a dying breed. The end of nationalism has been predicted multiple times as main themes in international communities. Peaceful rebuilding after World War II reached a peak. Yet, the end of Cold War ushered in a period of nationalism, reflected a civil wars and genocide from Yugoslavia to Rwanda. Nowadays, that period of nationalist resurgence appeared behind us, as this video shows at the beginning.
But for different historical reasons, previously the rise of nationalism mainly resulted from state building, national independence, terrorism attacks, and so on. This time, national revival in different backgrounds for developed countries and developing countries account for the main reason.
Among most developed countries, those countries are seeking for national better survive in terms of last Great Recession and globalization. So the United States claims to great again. Meanwhile, European countries such as Germany, Austria are expressing strong criticism on the globalization, which has led their manufacturing industries to be empty and the previous national advantage get lost. Among those developing countries, national revival is another case. Turkey, China, India, Philippines, and South Africa. Most of them are pursuing national revival based on their traditional great culture and stunning development modern achievements. For example, China, as the second economic power in the world, is calling on its Chinese dream, which motivated the public to work together to make the great national revival dream come true for the first time after it was invaded in the age of colonialism and rebuilt its modern nation.
Anyway, nationalism as an ideology is a man-made concept after the most nations found relatively fixed their positions in the world map. Nowadays, like air, ubiquitous and elusive, this is why we need to say it critically when we think of it almost unconsciously. So, what do you think about nationalism? Are you a nationalist? Where do you think nationalism will lead us for the future? Leave your comments. Let's talk about it together.